One. Hey, y'all.
Hey,
What's
ladies.
up, ladies?
Happy Wednesday. You know
Yes,
what
hump
that
day.
means? It is real chill conversations time. It's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock
Woohoo.
on the dot. We are here live with you. You got your girl Brenna B. You got Dominique. You
Woo-woo.
got Natalie. Edwina. She should be popping herself in a second. We'll let her in as soon as we see her come on and join the stream. Tonight's topic that we're going to get into is we're going to talk about the 5 love languages. Okay. We need to get some things straight here, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're going to have this conversation and we're talking about the love languages. Can you participate in more than just one? Is there one that speaks to you more than others? And all that kind of good stuff. And we encourage you to join in on the chat, post your comments in the chat. Also, on the Facebook page, in the group, you can post your comments there as well. And as we see them, we'll call them out and we'll answer the questions and dig into the topic. Here is Edwina. So we'll go ahead and add her in.
And let's
Hey,
take notes,
Edwina.
men and women.
Hey,
Hello.
girl.
Tina.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hey.
hey. So you ready to talk about these 5 love languages tonight?
Of course I am.
I know you are. I know you are. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put you on the spot since we got you. I know I asked this question in the chat a little while ago, but what would you say your love language is, Adrina? Are you a words of affirmation person or are you something else?
I would say I'm words of affirmations. I always like to hear positive affirmations, positive quotes, positive feedback. So I would say words of affirmation is for me.
Okay. So, words of affirmation, they are verbal compliments that express your love and appreciation. So, how do you express that? By bragging to others about your spouse, writing them love letters, and other forms of communication. And how would you express that after conflict? If you're a words of affirmation person, then you would speak words that build security and initiate a sincere apology. And I think that's really important. If you're a words of affirmation person, then you need to also speak those words into existence, especially after you've had a disagreement or you've had a conflict. Dominique, what would you say you think your love language is? Are you a acts of service? Are you quality time? Are you giving gifts or are you physical touch?
You know what? I had to go back and read all of them because I had to tell the truth. But I picked one at first, but then now I'm thinking I'm like two of them. So
You can
it would
do more than
be
one. So you can go ahead and share which ones you think you are.
the first one would be gifts, and the second one will be acts of service.
All right. So, with the gifts, giving gifts, these are tangible symbols that reflect your thoughtfulness and effort. And examples of that would be making birthdays, anniversaries special, also surprise them with their favorite treats. And then after conflict, you would give a small token of your love, an apology note. So that would be giving
Oh,
gifts.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
Write
Yeah.
me a 4-page love letter.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
4 page letter. What about you, Natalie? What category do you think you fall into?
I feel like the one that I can relate to the most is the acts of service.
Yeah.
I'm big on consideration. I'm big on consideration. So and it doesn't have to be, anything grand. It can be something as small as just watering my plants or, um, seeing that the trash needs to be taken out. It's like, just little things that are just thoughtful gestures that help me, you know, get things done and lessen up my load. So I think that one, but a lot of them, I can learn to appreciate a lot of them, these love languages. I feel like someone has to be a little well rounded in them all. I don't feel like us as women, we got that down pat, okay? But when it comes to men, we're more emotional. So with men, this is something good to learn and pay attention to because, you can't love someone how you want to love someone. You have to love them how they want to be loved. So,
Exactly.
Yep, exactly what I was going to say as well. So, with acts of service, that would be any act that eases the burden of responsibility. Examples of that could be washing the dishes, pamper your spouse, offer to let me do that for you. After conflict, you would make behavior changes that have been requested through the conflict. So, if you're asking someone to do something differently, or change up your tone, change the way that you speak to me. That's something that you would do if you are following through with acts of service. Now, a lot of people, I'd asked this question generally on a poll, and a lot of people had said that their love language was quality time. And quality time is considered to be focused and undivided attention spent together. That means turning off electronics, going for a walk, planning date nights, starting a hobby together. And then after conflict, that would be making eye contact, active listening with empathy, and not interrupting your partner when your partner is speaking. How do y'all feel about the quality time one? Do you think that one is sort of a given that that should go hand in hand with all of the other acts of service? Or do you think that one is enough to stand alone by itself? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's enough to stand on its own. Um, Turn off the electronics. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Give
because
that person your undivided attention.
absolutely. We're so busy and wrapped up in our phones and doing things with our phones, or even when we're in a conversation, not necessarily giving the other person our undivided attention. We're multitasking. So I definitely think that that quality time one is a good one. I like the going for a walk and doing something together. I mean, date night
mhm.
is kind of a given. I mean, that's your quality time, but we like to hike, we like to walk, we like, hitting Stone Mountain and, getting on our bikes and doing that kind of thing. So I think that quality time is definitely one that is um, one for the books that should definitely be supported. And then along with that one, we've got physical touch. A lot of people thought that this assumed that it was a sexual type of intimacy, but the physical touch, in terms of acts of service, in terms of the love languages, it's a non sexual touch that reinforces your presence. These are long hugs. This is gentle caressing, kissing, massages, hand holding. And after conflict, it's holding each other without saying words, cuddling together in the bed, on the sofa, sitting down next to one another, and then just being there and being present. And I think that that's important too, because people get very wrapped up in the whole sexual aspect of touching, that you can't have a touch without it leading to something else. And I think that that's untrue.
That's
Also mention the
facts.
feet rubs. Don't forget about the feet rub.
Definitely don't forget about the feet rubs. Definitely not forgetting about the feet rubs.
Go ahead, Natalie. I'm sorry.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I think I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm just big on affection though, just all around. Like you said, it doesn't always have to be sexual. I mean, sometimes, just a little pat on the back is like, okay, good job, champ. pick it up.
Right.
So that's important. And
Yep.
what was the last one we were talking about? Was the quality time? That one's like you said, it's a given because it's rude sometimes. You know, it's considered rude in most cases when you're hanging out with anybody, let alone your
Right.
partner, and you're just all in your phone or you're, I mean, you know, we understand that people work, you know, you got to check your phone around the clock. But you don't want your lady barking at you if you're giving that quality time and that affection. So just
Yep.
know that
And you
all of
got to
these acts, all of these languages are important now.
You got to include the eye contact and the active listening along with
Yes.
empathy with that quality time, because it's not, otherwise it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, if you're having a conversation and the other person is not looking at you, they looking at the game, whether it's one on TV or a video game that they playing or something that they're doing on their phone, you're not getting their full attention. So it's diminishing that quality time. It's diluting that quality time, and it's not really leaving as much of an impact as it would be if you were to be like, okay, phone's off, you've got my undivided attention for however long you need it. And then the act of listening. I think that's something that I know myself. I'm a good listener. I believe that I am open and I want to hear what's being said. The mistake that I make, and I'm taking accountability for this, the mistake that I make is I oftentimes will try to insert a statement or a comment or a suggestion. And I do that because sometimes I lose my train of thought, and I'm afraid that I'm going to forget what it is that I'm going to say or was going to say. So that's something that I have to work on. But as far as the quality time, I think that's definitely important. And I would have to say, for me, I think that I'm absolutely an acts of service person. I'm an acts of service, and I am a quality time, and then I'm mixed in with that physical touch. I don't know about the giving gifts. I'm not saying that it's wrong or that people shouldn't feel that way. I like to give people things more than I receive them. I get joy in putting a smile on somebody's face. So I guess, if I put the shoe on the other foot and I let somebody do that, do that little thing for me, then perhaps I would feel some reward from it. But as far as a love language, I don't think that I'm too heavily versed in the giving gifts one. I think that one falls behind the quality time and the acts of service for me.
Yeah, Brenna, I feel the same way. I'm a giver. I love to give gifts. I don't have to receive gifts, but I like to give gifts. I like to plan trips and, you know, um, plan little things, make things exciting. That's just me. Um, but I had to realize sometimes some people may not even know about their love language. And that's how a lot of relationships they crash because you're thinking your partner is an act of kindness or um, a words of affirmations, but they're not. You have to
Hmm.
learn what your partner wants and learn what your partner needs.
Right.
And I had to learn that the hard way. I'm thinking my partner is like me, like, oh, you want somebody to cheer you on and be your cheerleader. He's like, no, I want you to rub my feet like Dominique said. I want you to rub my back and tell me
Right.
I'm handsome and put your hands through my head. Like, and I didn't know that. I had to learn out the hard way.
Yeah.
I may send a lovey-dovey text say, oh my God, happy Monday. I love you. You're so handsome. He's like, okay, so what? But that's to me. I
Right.
like that. I like somebody to send me a good morning text saying, good morning, beautiful. They may not like that. They may want, coffee in bed. So we
True.
have to know our partner when we're dating them, when we're married to them, and know what type of a love language they are as well.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
everybody don't have the same one.
Exactly. Exactly. They don't.
Now, people that are in relationships, whether you have a long-term partner, a significant other, you're common law married, you're engaged, or whatever the case may be. I know before people get married, there's lots of conversation about doing premarital counseling, but I think that counseling is an excellent idea. It's an excellent concept, even if you're involved in with someone and you're dating them. If it's a serious relationship and you guys are actually living together and you've taken it to that level, I think it's an excellent opportunity to really get to understand what that person's love language is, so that you're not making assumptions and you're not making mistakes and misreading them. Because I've done that, myself in my current situation. It's like I just assumed that my husband's love language was one thing, but really it was something completely different. So I completely had missed the mark. But had we had an opportunity to really have a conversation about it in the beginning and talk about it years ago, it wouldn't just be coming up now like, oh no, babe, you got that one wrong. Like, oops.
Yeah, that's true, Brenna. But I think when you're dating, you don't even think about that. You think about, oh, let's go on a date, let's have a good time, let's focus on, me and you. That's it. You're not even thinking about your love language until it gets serious. And he's like, well, I don't like that. I'm like, well, babe, I thought you did. You don't like surprises? I hate surprises. You see, I love surprises, but my ex, he hated surprises. He just didn't like it. He was like, don't surprise me. Tell me how it is to my face. Don't put nothing on me. See?
I'm
We're
Uh,
bad
different
at
like that.
that too. I'm
And
bad at that.
Natalie, I will surprise somebody in a heartbeat. I'll plan a whole trip. I'm like, surprise. He's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Don't surprise me.
That's so true. Because Jamal has told me that he does not like surprises, and then I'm like, I got you something. He's like, what? I'm like, it's a surprise. I can't tell you.
Exactly.
right,
But I
right,
thought it was so cute because, that's like my love language. Surprises,
right.
you know?
And
Yeah.
you feel all happy and giddy inside because you've
Mm-hmm.
taken the time to come
Plan it.
up with the surprise and to plan it and put it together, and you're imagining the reaction that they're gonna have and how happy they're
Exactly.
gonna feel because you put this surprise together, and then come to find out that is not on
No,
their agenda
look,
at all.
Brenna gets shot down.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
they go from the stolen to like being mad at you.
Yes, and it's like, and then now I feel so deflated because I put this effort in and you just like you don't
Exactly.
care because it's not your thing. But it's like, who do I fault? I have to fault myself because
Yourself.
I didn't do enough work to figure out, what your love language is.
Exactly.
How are you expressive in that regard? How are you expressive? How do you like to express it? How do you like to receive it? How do you like to give it? And then how do you like to get it? Those are the things that, a lot of times we just don't take the time to figure out
I have
and
a
to level with that.
question.
Yep.
So we talked about what our love language is, right?
Yes.
Is it the same as what for your partner? Like, what would you like for your partner love language to be? Like, what would you like for their love language to be? Is it the same of what you um
Mm. I think I would like for his love language to be the affection, the physical touch, because he's not as cuddle bug as I would like. So I
Mm,
think if it was anything, it would be a little more of that.
yeah, me too.
yeah.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah, that's
yeah.
how guys are.
Yeah.
You gotta pull it out of them.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and
What
why
about
is that
you?
we have to pull it out of them to just to cuddle or just to lay down and relax? It's.
In a non-sexual way. And we
Yeah,
gotta
So
put the
affection?
non-sexual in there. 'Cause just because we cuddling and we laying down don't mean that it
exactly.
sit
Back
down
rubs don't have to lead to something else.
time.
Well, not every time.
You
And
can't say that, Edwina.
What'd you say?
You can't say that. You're a Scorpio.
I know that, but you heard I just said. You heard I just I said
Ah,
every time. A couple times it can lead to something else, not
I'm
every
just playing.
time. Well, you know I
Shout out
am.
to Scorpios.
Yeah.
I think for guys, I would say that it's probably just generally speaking with them, I would see that their love language would be along the lines of physical touch, but I don't think they understand that it's the non-sexual physical touch, the long hugs, the caressing, the kissing, the massages, the feet rubs, the hand holding, that kind of thing. I
I
feel
don't
like
know now, Brenda. That ain't for everybody.
it's
Okay.
not for
Just
everybody.
saying.
Just saying.
I'm just
So the physical touch, and then I think that if I had to pick the other two that I would think, I think like giving gifts is probably a given, because I think guys think like, oh, if I just buy her this, or if I just get her this gift, that should make her happy. If I go in this store here and get her this bag or get her these shoes, then that should just make her happy. And I
Mhm.
don't necessarily think that that's the case. I mean, some people, yeah, they'll be wowed by that, but others would prefer something else. And I would prefer the quality time over you just handing me a bag that you picked out from the mall, and now you're too busy and we can't spend any time together.
I
Like this,
agree. And I'm a gift giver. I like to
yeah,
give gifts. So that's a way of me showing my love for you. But
yeah.
I don't want somebody like me. I want that quality time. So
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's what I was
I
just
want the
talking about.
quality time. I
Yeah.
want the quality time. Don't just give
Yeah.
me the bag with the shoes and the this and the that. Like, give me the quality time. Give me that physical touch. Give me that undivided attention when you're not scrolling your phone and doing something else. I mean, those are the things that are important to me, that make a difference and let me know that you care. Let me not have to ask, hey, can you take the trash out? Like certain things, like those are they're small things, but those are things that speak volumes in terms of speaking my love language. And like, okay, you get it. You're getting it. You're there. You understand it. We're on the same page. We're not on different pages. And I think so many times we're on different pages because we just don't understand what it is that men truly want, nor have we given them an opportunity for them to really tell us what it is that they want. Are they not getting an opportunity to tell us what they want, or are we just not listening? Or is it a combination of the two?
It could be a combination of the two, because I know sometimes I could be honest, I don't listen. I may act like I'm listening, but I'm not listening. So for me, it's both.
For me, I think
Communication.
it's just like I'm deciding what I want your love language to be, instead of listening and saying, okay, well, let's see what he likes, or let's see, I try to pay attention to that. But then, like I said, with the surprises, it's like, oh no, I'm just going to keep surprising you, even though you said you don't like surprises, because I like to see you surprised.
Yeah,
Right.
that's me, Natalie. I don't care how many times he
Right,
tells me don't surprise her. I'm gonna surprise you.
right,
I want to see you happy.
right, right.
Like, I want to see the look on your face, because I put a lot of effort in here trying to put this
Exactly.
Oh,
together for you.
yes, exactly.
How
I,
many of us like surprises?
Me.
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 That's why we do it. We're like,
But
hint,
see,
hint. This
I
is
will
what I like.
surprise my friends too. Like if I know my friends want something, I'll surprise them with something.
Yeah.
That's
Because
true.
that's just who I am.
She sure
Yeah.
did. She surprised me the other day. Thank you so much. I
I
love
sure did.
it.
It was a nice surprise too.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's sweet. That's
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Do you think that we should be carving out time to have these conversations with our significant others? Should we be doing a check-in? Just see how we are? What's the temperature check? Let's take a temperature check and see how we doing in this relationship. How are you feeling? Because I think that from what I gather, it seems like there's a lot of people that are in situations where if you just ask them across the board, okay, like, how are you feeling in your relationship? Most of the time, people would be like, I mean, it's fine. It's okay. Like, we've got our, things just like everybody else does, but for the most part, I think we're good. I think when people hear that they're not good or that their significant other isn't happy with certain things or has a problem with certain things, that there's then a surprise, like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand like where that's coming from, and how is that happening? How are we not on the same page? So, should we take more of an active role in trying to make sure that we're on the same page and really trying to understand the love language, or do we just take care of how we like to express our language and how we like to receive our language and leave it at that?
No, you should take the time to
Yeah.
communicate, because if you don't, like you said, Brenda, I mean, you're not gonna know what that person wants, and you might be expressing it in a way that they might not be able to receive it.
Yeah.
So if you want
I'm a
to have a great relationship, it's best to communicate.
yeah. Yeah, I'm with Dominique. I'm big on communicating, and my personal opinion, I feel like if you're not communicating with your spouse, somebody else will. So you have to communicate with them
Yeah.
at all times. And I'm an advocate for counseling. I don't care if your marriage is great. Continue
Yeah.
to go to counseling, because that counselor can make your marriage better. You see,
Hmm.
on
Yeah.
top of being great. And it's not a bad thing to go to counseling, but I really believe communication is the key to anything, to any marriage, to any relationship, especially to keep it going and having a good relationship.
Yeah, being on the same page is instrumental. I mean, I think when you realize that, oh wait, I'm on chapter 11 and you're on chapter 17, you way ahead of me, and where we are in in this book that we're supposed to be reading together. So we're not on the same page. We're in different stages. How do we bridge that gap? Like, how do we get back to a point in which we have a common understanding and a unified understanding as to where we're at? The counseling part, people that I know that have gone to counseling, marriage counseling, relationship counseling, couples counseling, they all seem to agree that it's great and it's a phenomenal resource for them to have while they're going and while they're attending it. But when there's a break in the counseling and they haven't gone in a while and they're no longer participating in a regular routine, then things start to downtrend again. So it seems like that's something that's very important to maintain. Just like you want to maintain your nail appointment and your hair appointment and all your other appointments, you want to maintain that counseling appointment. If that's something that you guys have implemented and you're working that into your relationship, I think it's important to maintain that and to give it a priority to avoid the disappointments of the sliding backwards, because I've seen that happen with people that have gone to counseling and then for whatever reason they stopped going or they haven't gone or they fell off for a while and then they got to start it back up again. And it's difficult. Relationships are hard enough as it is. So we want to do all that we can to try to make them successful and try to make them work. And it's like, wow, if we can break this down into love languages and have an understanding as to what those languages are, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I am completely 100% all for it, and I think it's something it's simple enough that everyone should be able to have an understanding, at least fundamentally, of what those basics are.
I can actually speak on that because you made a great point. If you are going to counseling, I've been there. So once you stop, it is kind of hard to pick back up where you were with that person. But counseling is great, and while you're going, you're feeling good about it. So both of you are feeling good about it. But then once you stop, it's kind of it like sets you back. So you want to make sure that you keep going. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's important. I think it's important to maintain. So if you are just tuning in and missed the beginning part of our podcast, tonight's episode, we are talking about the 5 love languages, discover how to love your spouse and how to let your spouse love you or your significant other. So I'll break them down one more time so that we can go through them. You've got your words of affirmations. These are verbal compliments that express your love and appreciation. Next, you've got your acts of service. This is any act that eases the burden of responsibility. Next, you've got quality time. This is focused and undivided attention that is spent together. Then we've got giving gifts. These are tangible symbols that reflect thoughtfulness and effort. And lastly, we've got physical touch. This is a non-sexual touch that reinforces your presence. So, are any of these, do you think, more difficult to have a conversation with your significant other about than others, or do you think they're about all on the same level with being able to have a conversation?
I think it's pretty open. It's a good open conversation to have. I know I have a 5 hour drive down to Mobile, so Jamal's going to hear it. He's going to hear all about the love languages tomorrow. Hope he's ready.
Hope you're ready to hear all about the love languages, honey.
And there's a book too, The 5 Love Language, if you ever want to read it. It's really good. I have it myself.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. I love it. Yeah, it's really
Cool.
good. Mm-hmm.
I think the only one that would be kind of difficult, it was kind of difficult for me at one point was the act of service, and try to get a person to see like what comes with that.
Yeah.
I can see that being
Yeah,
a little,
I could see
yeah.
that as well. Because people have different interpretations of what acts of service mean. So not everyone is thinking about any act that eases the burden of responsibility, such as washing the dishes, pampering your spouse, offering to have you do that for them, taking over something that they would normally do. That's one that could be a little challenging, a little difficult. But I think, when someone consistently shows up and does those things, and they're like, okay, well, that's my act of service. I know you don't like to take out the trash, so I go ahead and I take the trash out. That's something that they're doing, and that's their act of service for you. But you're just like, that's part of cleaning up the house. You should be taking out the trash anyway. You should be taking out the trash anyway. And it's like, how you gonna discount my little act of service? Talking about it's just part of cleaning the house when that's just me doing something for you because I know you hate doing it. So you could have those kinds of
Or
situations.
taking care of the
there.
kids.
Brenna, I'm gonna make sure your husband know to take the trash out because because you've been bringing this trash thing, girl. I'm gonna make sure.
Of putting
Leave
gas
him
in
a
the
sticky
car,
note. Take out the trash, babe. Take out the trash.
put gas in the car.
Put gas in the car, babe. Put
That's
gas in the
right.
car.
Clean
Oh,
the
yeah.
car, wash the car, vacuum the
Okay.
car,
Yeah.
But you know,
oil the
Britta,
car.
sometimes men, they don't think. They're thinking, oh, I'm washing 2 cups. That's like amazing. But it's like, no. Can you wash all the
Right.
dishes and the trash and wipe down the counters?
Right.
You see?
Right.
So, you know, men think differently than women do.
They do. They
Mhm.
absolutely do.
Yeah.
I just had a flashback to me having to go get gas the
Oh,
other day, and I
no.
hadn't had to do that in a long time. And it's not that I have a problem like pumping my own gas. It's just like if you see that the car is going to be needing gas, like why don't you just go ahead and do it while you're out? Knowing that I'm going to be going somewhere the next day. That's my thing. It's just the small thing. I'm like, now I got to take this extra time that I didn't plan on taking. I thought I was just going to get in the car and go, but nope, I got to stop and I got to get gas.
Hey, you know why I'm laughing? Because I can't wait till these men get up here and tell us what we need to do.
Oh,
Right.
Lord. That's
All
going to be a
these
whole new
love
conversation.
languages.
That's so true. We're gonna be looking like, ooh, oh, that's how you
Exactly.
feel.
Yep. Like, what do we need to do? What do I need to do? What are my acts of service? I guarantee you they got a whole separate list of what acts of service definition is over the one that's here in this article, in this book.
Oh Lord.
That physical touch one, I'm sure, is completely different than the one that's in here in this book.
They're gonna say, yes, serve me while I sit back.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Natalie. While they sit back.
Breakfast in bed, dinner in the
And
recliner.
see, for me, like if I make like a Sunday, a big Sunday meal, and like let's say like we were watching a movie or something like that, like I might make you breakfast in bed, and to me, like that's an act of service. I like to cook. And so I don't mind, and I like to relax. So a relaxing Sunday, me making you breakfast in bed, that would be an act of service to me. But to him, it may just be that that's just that you're my wife and that's what you're supposed to do. And if you're looking at it like that, then then we on a different page. then we on a different page.
Do you think an act of service is like you being submissive?
It could be interpreted that way
Yeah.
as being submissive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can
can
I,
see
I
that.
I can see that when you're catering, like you said earlier, catering to him, making him breakfast in bed, making sure that his feet are rubbed. It's like, okay, well, is the roles on a reverse, and you do that for me as well, or
Right.
not?
Right.
And that's when the
Exactly.
communication has to come in for
Mhm.
both parties on the love languages.
What do you think is the best time to bring up the conversation of the love languages? Should it be during one of the existing love languages? Like, should this be something that you're talking about during uninterrupted quality time? Is this something that you should be discussing during a non-sexual physical touch? Like,
Yeah,
if I'm like rubbing your shoulders and it's like,
yeah.
hey, babe, like I want to talk to you about such and such. I mean, do you think that
I think so, Brenda. I think
helpful?
so. I
Yeah.
think so. Yes, because when you're, say, for instance, massaging his back, and you can say, "Babe, do you like that?" He can be like, "Yeah, babe, I like that." Be like, "Okay, well, let's talk about what else you may like. You know, do you like gifts, or do you like me to, speak positive affirmations over you?" And that's a perfect time to open that door to have that conversation about what he likes. And then you can say, "Well, I like this, and I'm a woman of words of affirmation, and I like, gifts, and surprises."
It's the words of affirmation to me. To me, that's a bigger gift than, getting a bag with a bag in it and
Yes.
and some shoes.
And that's how I
Um,
feel. I don't have to have that. Like,
yeah,
for me, I don't have to have that.
right.
That's just not my thing. It will be nice, but I don't have to have it.
Yeah, it's nice. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But it would be even cooler if sat here and gave me all the reasons why you appreciate me and what you appreciate about me and what you like about my personality and shared that with me. That would go a whole lot further than the bag and the shoes. Because I mean, that's not difficult. That doesn't take a whole tremendous amount of thought. But I think when you're speaking to someone's personality and the type of person that they are and who they are with those words of affirmations, I think that that's going a lot deeper and that's a lot more thoughtful than just handing somebody a bag with some bows and stuff on it. And
But
yeah, I mean, it's cool.
I do see some people not knowing how to do that. So,
Right.
I mean, they want to, but they might not know how to, or just can't find the right words to say. So they might just choose to give you a gift.
Yeah.
I've came in contact in my previous relationships with people that didn't know how to, communicate on that level.
Right.
So, giving me gifts was their only way of their love language. I guess saying, I love you. And
Yeah. And that's true,
so,
Dominique. And that's why, as women, we have to be more understanding, because some men, they can't express how they feel.
mhm,
And as women, we have to sit back and understand, okay, he was probably brought up a certain way. He probably don't know how to express his love.
mhm,
So,
Right.
let's be understanding and accept the gift from him and
yeah.
love the gift. And,
Be like, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank
But
you.
when it comes from a good place,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
so.
I agree.
All right, ladies. Does anybody else have anything to add to this topic of 5 love languages? Any suggestions, recommendations on how to have this conversation with your significant other or your boo?
I was just going to say, if you're really serious about talking about the 5 love languages in your relationship or marriage, go get the book. Even if he's not going to read the book while you're in bed with your spouse, significant other, just sit down there and read the book out loud to him, and maybe he'll listen. But it's a great book, and it will
What's it
help a
called?
lot of relationships. It's actually called The 5 Love Languages. You
Oh,
can
it's
get it
called
off
the
of,
5
yeah, it's
love
called The 5
languages.
Love Languages. Yeah, you can get it off of Amazon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. Good
Yeah.
to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, my ladies. Well, that is the end of tonight's podcast, talking about the 5 love languages with real chill conversations and your girls, Dominique, Natalie, me, Brenna, and Edwina. Make sure you guys are on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you join the Facebook group Real Chill Conversations, and also go to our Instagram, our social media, Real Chill Conversations, and then the YouTube page, of course, Real Chill Conversations. We'll have things posted over there. And then in the cross between of all those different pages, we'll have ways and links that you can get at us if you're interested. If you're interested in suggesting a topic or interested in becoming a guest on the show, just send us an email to Real Chill Conversations, or you can send us a message. We respond to messages as well. I think that's how our last guest got in contact with us. Sent a direct message to Dominique, and then we took it from there. And next thing you know, we had that person on the show. So we definitely want y'all to join in on the conversation. It's real talk. It is from different perspectives. It's a judgment-free zone. and we're just here to talk about it. Let's talk about the things that we normally don't get to dive into, that you don't get to really hear different perspectives on. And there's no wrong answers. There's no wrong answers here. We just have different perspectives and different ideas, and we like to share that all with you. So that is Real Chill Conversations.
Bye-bye.
Bye, ladies. See you next time. Next Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
Bye.
We'll be here.
Bye.